Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins History, where we uncover the hidden stories and incredible values behind coins you may have in your pocket, your collection, or even tucked away in a jar at home. Today, we're going to explore one of the most popular coins in U.S. history, a coin that has fascinated collectors for decades, the Lincoln cent from the year 1971. Now, this little copper coin might not look like much at first glance, but when it comes to rarity, condition, and demand, it has the potential to be worth far more than just a single cent. In fact, by the end of this video, I'll reveal just how valuable some of these 1971 Lincoln pennies can be, and you'll be shocked at the incredible number tied to the rarest examples. The Lincoln penny has a legacy like no other, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person instead of a symbolic figure, and it immediately became a favorite among the public. By the 1970s, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for more than 60 years, and it remained the coin most people encountered daily in their transactions. But not every penny is created equal, and the 1971 series has a few surprises hidden within it that collectors are eager to find. When we talk about 1971 Lincoln pennies, one of the first things to consider is the mint mark. These coins were produced at three different locations: Philadelphia, which did not carry a mint mark, Denver with a small D beneath the date, and San Francisco with the S mint mark. While the majority of these coins were produced in high numbers, not all of them hold the same value. The difference in where the coin was minted, how it was struck, and how well it has been preserved over the years plays a huge role in determining whether you have an ordinary penny or a hidden treasure. Condition is the number one factor that can transform a coin from being worth just face value into being a collectible item worth thousands of dollars. Coins that have been heavily circulated, scratched, or worn will typically only hold sentimental or minimal value. But coins that were never released into circulation, or that were carefully preserved in protective cases, often referred to as mint state or uncirculated, are the ones collectors chase after. A 1971 penny in brilliant, uncirculated condition can catch the eye of even the most experienced collectors, especially when it carries unique characteristics or errors. Speaking of errors, this is where things get really exciting for coin hunters. The 1971 Lincoln cent is famous for one of the most sought-after error varieties, the double die obverse. This is when the coin was struck in such a way that the image or text looks doubled, and on the 1971 penny, the doubling is often visible on the inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date itself. Collectors love these varieties because they are rare, and rarity almost always equals value. Some of these double die pennies from 1971 have sold for eye-popping amounts at auctions, proving that keeping an eye out for details can truly pay off. Now let's not forget about the San Francisco mint pennies with the S mark. In 1971, proof coins were produced in San Francisco, specially struck with extra care for collectors. These proof coins often have mirror-like finishes and sharp details, setting them apart from regular circulation coins. While many proof coins can still be purchased at reasonable prices, rare high-grade examples or those with unique varieties can push values up dramatically. So what makes these 1971 Lincoln pennies so special to collectors today? It's the combination of history, artistry, condition, rarity, and errors. Each factor adds a layer to the coin's story. A well-worn penny from your change jar might only be worth a cent, but a gem-quality example with a rare error or double die could transform into something that collectors are willing to pay an enormous premium for. And now, here comes the moment you've been waiting for, the true value reveal. While most 1971 Lincoln pennies may not hold more than face value, certain rare examples in uncirculated condition with those incredible doubling errors have stunned collectors at auctions. The highest prices ever realized for these coins have reached an astonishing $75,000. That's right, $75,000 for a single 1-cent coin from 1971. Just think about it, a coin you might easily overlook in your change could actually be the key to a life-changing discovery. This is why collectors and treasure hunters like you never stop checking their pennies, because you just never know what kind of hidden fortune might be sitting right in the palm of your hand. So, next time you come across a 1971 penny, don't dismiss it as just another ordinary coin. Take a closer look at the mint mark, inspect the details for doubling, and consider the condition. Who knows, you might just be holding onto a piece of history worth far more than you could ever imagine. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the fascinating story and incredible value of the 1971 Lincoln penny. Today we are about to embark on another exciting journey into the world of coins, and this time, our focus is on a small yet powerful piece of American history, the United States 1-cent Lincoln penny from the year 1980. Now, most people would glance at this coin and think it's just a regular penny, worth only 1 cent and nothing more. But as seasoned collectors know, the tiniest details can turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. By the time we reach the end of this video, you'll discover just how much this humble penny could be worth in the right condition, and I promise, the number will absolutely astonish you. The Lincoln cent has been part of American pockets, purses, and piggy banks for over a century, ever since its first issue in 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was created to honor President Abraham Lincoln, a leader admired for his strength, vision, and dedication to freedom. Unlike coins before it, the Lincoln cent was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, marking an important milestone in American coinage. By 1980, the Lincoln penny had already seen decades of use, yet it remained one of the most iconic and widely recognized coins in circulation. The year 1980 itself was a fascinating period in American history. The nation was experiencing shifts in its economy, culture, and politics. Inflation was high, everyday items were becoming more expensive, and coins like the penny were starting to feel less valuable in terms of purchasing power. Yet, while the penny may not have bought much in 1980, the coins struck during this time have gained a whole new kind of value in today's collector market. Let's take a closer look at the details of the 1980 Lincoln penny. On the front, or obverse side, we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, looking calm and determined, a design that had already been a part of U.S. coinage for over 70 years by then. Above his head reads the motto, "In God We Trust," while the word "Liberty" stands to the left, and the date, 1980, appears on the right, just above the mint mark. That tiny mint mark is important, because it tells us where the coin was struck. In 1980, pennies were minted at several locations, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins from that time carried no mint mark, while the Denver coins displayed a small D, and San Francisco produced special proof coins marked with an S. Each of these mints produced millions of coins, but what makes them special today is not just their origin, it's their condition, their rarity, and in some cases, unique minting errors. On the reverse side of the coin, the design features the Lincoln Memorial, a powerful tribute to the man who worked tirelessly to preserve the Union. If you look closely, you'll even find a tiny image of the statue of Lincoln seated within the memorial, a detail that often amazes new collectors. Surrounding the image are the inscriptions "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum," with the coin's denomination, 1 cent, displayed boldly at the bottom. This design, used from 1959 through 2008, is itself a piece of American heritage, instantly recognizable to generations. Now, what sets the 1980 penny apart from the billions of other pennies minted over the years? The answer lies in rarity and uniqueness. While it's true that most 1980 pennies are still worth only face value, there are examples that stand out due to their pristine condition, being struck with exceptional clarity, or carrying rare minting errors. Coins that were never used in circulation and have been preserved in near-perfect, uncirculated condition are the ones collectors pay close attention to. The grading scale, ranging from circulated to mint state, can make a huge difference in value. A well-worn 1980 penny might only fetch a few cents, but a gem-quality, uncirculated example could be worth hundreds, even thousands. Errors are another reason why certain 1980 pennies fetch jaw-dropping amounts. Imagine a coin struck slightly off-center, or one with a double die error where the date, letters, or motto appear double due to a mistake during the minting process. These rare quirks make a coin unique, and collectors are willing to pay handsomely for them. Double dies, repunched mint marks, or unusual variations are always hot topics in the coin collecting world. And when one of these rare error coins surfaces in pristine condition, the value can skyrocket dramatically. the San Francisco proof coins from 1980 are another category collectors seek. Proof coins are made with extra care, often struck multiple times to bring out sharp details and a mirror-like finish. While many proof sets from that year are still available, flawless examples graded at the highest levels can command significant premiums. For collectors who love precision and beauty, proof coins hold a special place. All these factors, the history, the design, the mint marks, the condition, and the possibility of errors, combine to make the 1980 Lincoln penny a coin worth a second look. Most people would never expect a penny from this relatively modern year to hold much value, but coin collecting is full of surprises, and now comes the part you've been waiting for, the potential value reveal. While common examples might only be worth a few cents to a few dollars, rare examples of the 1980 Lincoln penny in uncirculated condition, particularly with minting errors or special qualities, have sold for staggering amounts. Some of the rarest and most desirable examples have been valued as high as $80,000. That's right, $80,000 for a single 1-cent coin from 1980. Just think about it, something so small, so ordinary in appearance, could hold a value that rivals the cost of a luxury car, a down payment on a house, or even a life-changing sum of money. This is why collectors never overlook even the simplest of pennies, because hidden among them may be one of the rare treasures that can change everything. So, the next time you come across a 1980 Lincoln penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a careful look, check for the mint mark, examine the details, and pay attention to the condition. Who knows, you might just be holding onto a coin worth far more than you ever dreamed. Thank you for joining me on this exciting journey into the story of the 1980 Lincoln penny. Today, we're turning our attention to a very interesting piece of U.S. currency that many people have seen and used countless times without giving it a second thought, the United States 1-cent Lincoln penny from the year 1976. At first glance, it looks like any other penny you might find in your pocket change, but as we'll discover together, there's so much more behind this little coin than meets the eye. And if you stay with me until the very end, I'll reveal the jaw-dropping price that one of these rare coins has been known to reach, an amount that could truly change your perspective on what a single penny can be worth. The Lincoln penny has a history like no other coin in American currency. First struck in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was groundbreaking because it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure rather than a symbolic image. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent immediately captured the public's attention, and over the decades, it has become one of the most collected and studied coins in the world. By the time we reach 1976, the Lincoln penny had already been a part of American life for nearly 70 years. Now, 1976 was no ordinary year in the United States. It was the nation's bicentennial year, celebrating 200 years of American independence. Although the penny itself did not receive a special commemorative design like the quarter, half-dollar, or dollar coins did, it was still minted during a time of national pride and historical celebration. That alone gives the 1976 penny a special place in the story of American coinage, since every coin minted that year is tied to this milestone anniversary. Let's take a closer look at the design details of the 1976 Lincoln cent. On the obverse, or front, you see the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, looking toward the right with his calm and thoughtful expression. Above his head is the inscription, "In God We Trust," to the left is the word "Liberty," and to the right, you'll find the date, 1976, along with the mint mark just below it. That mint mark tells us where the coin was produced. Coins minted in Philadelphia carried no mint mark at all, those from Denver bore the letter D, and the coin struck in San Francisco carried the S mint mark. While all three versions were produced in large numbers, their values today depend heavily on condition, rarity, and special characteristics like errors. The reverse side of the coin, still featuring the Lincoln Memorial design at that time, is another point of interest. This design had been introduced in 1959 to replace the wheat ears that originally appeared on the back of the coin. If you look closely at the memorial, you'll see a tiny detail many people miss: the seated statue of Abraham Lincoln inside the memorial, a miniature version of the real-life statue in Washington, D.C. Surrounding this are the words, United States of America, the motto, E pluribus unum, and the denomination, 1 cent. The design is clean, powerful, and distinctly American. Now, why is the 1976 Lincoln penny so interesting to collectors? The answer lies in condition and rarity. Billions of pennies were produced that year, and most of them were heavily circulated, scratched, and worn down as they passed through millions of hands. However, coins that have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition, those that never entered circulation or were carefully preserved, are highly sought after. Collectors use a grading scale to measure a coin's condition, with top grades like Mint State 65, Mint State 67, or even higher commanding incredible prices. A regular, circulated penny might only be worth face value, but a flawless example can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and then we have the exciting world of minting errors. The 1976 penny, like many coins of its era, is known to have some fascinating varieties. Error coins are created when something goes wrong during the minting process. These can include double die obverse, where inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" appear doubled, off-center strikes where part of the design is missing, or repunched mint marks where the letter D or S was accidentally struck more than once. These errors are rare and unique, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for them. Each error coin is essentially one of a kind, which makes them far more desirable than ordinary examples. The San Francisco proof pennies from 1976 are also noteworthy. Proof coins are struck with extraordinary care, often multiple times, to produce razor-sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. These coins were never intended for circulation but were instead sold directly to collectors. While many proof sets still exist today, high-grade examples with exceptional finishes or unusual variations can be worth far more than their original cost. So, when you combine history, condition, mint marks, errors, and the bicentennial connection, the 1976 Lincoln penny becomes much more than a simple piece of copper. It becomes a collectible item, a slice of American history, and in some cases, a true treasure. And now, here's the part you've been waiting for, the value reveal. While the vast majority of 1976 pennies may only be worth a cent or a few dollars to collectors, certain rare examples in top uncirculated condition or with spectacular error varieties have been known to reach incredible prices at auction. In fact, one of these rare 1976 Lincoln pennies has been valued at an astounding $90,000. That's right, $90,000 for a single penny from 1976. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that most people would casually spend without a second thought, only to discover it could be worth more than a luxury car or even a college education. This is why collectors and treasure hunters like you always check their change, because the most unexpected coins can sometimes turn out to be the most valuable. So, the next time you find a penny from 1976, don't dismiss it as just another piece of spare change. Look at the mint mark, inspect the details, and check its condition carefully. You never know, you might just be holding onto a rare coin that could bring you a fortune. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of one of the most iconic and widely collected coins in U.S. history, the Lincoln penny. But not just any Lincoln penny, we're focusing on one particular year that has caught the attention of collectors and continues to spark curiosity to this very day, the United States 1-cent Lincoln penny from 1967. Now, you might be thinking, what could be so special about a penny from the 1960s? But as we explore its history, design, minting details, and collector demand, you'll see exactly why this little coin can be far more valuable than its humble face value suggests. And stay with me all the way through, because by the end of this video, I'll reveal just how much one rare example of the 1967 Lincoln penny has been valued at, and believe me, it's a figure that will leave you amazed. The Lincoln cent has long been a part of America's daily life, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. For decades it carried the famous wheat ear design on the reverse, until 1959 when the Lincoln Memorial replaced it. By 1967, the Lincoln penny had already become a household coin, something nearly everyone carried, yet in the eyes of collectors, it was still an object worth close study. Each year brought new coins, new conditions, and sometimes rare varieties that could make one coin stand out among millions. To understand the 1967 penny properly, we have to look at the time period. The mid to late 1960s were an important and unusual chapter in U.S. coinage history. The nation had just gone through the Great Coin Shortage of 1964 and 1965, a time when Americans were hoarding silver coins and the U.S. Mint was struggling to produce enough coinage for circulation. In response, the Mint took drastic measures, including temporarily halting the use of mint marks in 1965, 1966, and 1967. That's right, if you pick up a Lincoln penny from 1967, you won't see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco beneath the date, and Philadelphia coins traditionally carried no mark. This means all 1967 pennies were struck without any mint mark whatsoever. The absence of mint marks makes 1967 pennies unique compared to most other years, and it also tells us something important about the historical circumstances of the time. The Mint removed mint marks to discourage coin collecting, hoping that would ease the shortage by keeping more coins in circulation. Of course, it didn't stop collectors, it only made these years even more fascinating. Looking at the design, the obverse side still carried the timeless bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head, the motto, "In God We Trust," appears boldly. To the left we see the word "Liberty," and to the right is the date, 1967, standing alone without any mint mark. This clean, simple presentation makes the 1967 penny stand out to trained eyes. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo introduced in 1959. The detail is remarkable, and with careful examination, you can even see a tiny rendition of the seated Lincoln statue inside the memorial's columns. Around the image are the inscriptions, United States of America, E pluribus unum, and the denomination, 1 cent. Now let's talk about rarity and condition. The 1967 penny was produced in large numbers, with billions minted for circulation. Most of these coins passed through millions of hands, buying candy, newspapers, or sodas, and today, the vast majority are heavily worn and worth only face value. However, not all pennies were treated the same. Some were set aside at the time, preserved in original rolls, proof sets, or collector holdings, and these coins in uncirculated or mint state condition are the ones that truly shine today. Coin collectors use a grading system to determine condition, ranging from heavily worn circulated examples all the way up to mint state grades like MS65, MS67, or even higher. A common circulated 1967 penny might only be worth 1 cent, but a gem-quality uncirculated example can bring far more. The difference between a well-worn coin and one that has remained untouched for more than 50 years can mean hundreds or even thousands of dollars in value, and then there are the errors and varieties. Error coins are one of the most thrilling discoveries in the hobby, and the 1967 penny is no exception. Doubling on the obverse, known as a double die, where parts of the date or inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" appear doubled, can make a coin far more valuable. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing, or coins struck on the wrong planchet, are also incredibly sought after. These mistakes happen rarely, but when they do, they transform ordinary pennies into rare treasures. Collectors absolutely love errors, because each one is unique and tells a different story about the minting process. Proof coins from 1967 also exist, struck with extra care for collectors, featuring sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. While these coins were not released for circulation, they have become prized items in collections, especially when found in pristine, high-graded condition. So why do collectors chase after the 1967 penny? It's a combination of history, the unusual absence of mint marks, its connection to the coin shortage era, and of course, the hunt for those rare high-grade and error examples. Each of these factors adds layers of value to what might otherwise be overlooked as an ordinary penny, and now we come to the most exciting part, the value reveal. While most 1967 pennies will only be worth their face value or a modest premium to collectors, rare examples in exceptional condition, particularly those with unique errors, have sold for truly astonishing amounts. In fact, one of these rare 1967 Lincoln pennies has been valued at an incredible $70,000, yes, you heard that right, $70,000 for a single penny from 1967. Just imagine finding one of these coins in a forgotten jar, an old collection, or tucked away in change from years gone by. That tiny 1-cent piece could actually be a life-changing discovery. This is the magic of coin collecting, the thrill of turning something so small and seemingly ordinary into something truly extraordinary. So the next time you come across a 1967 Lincoln penny, don't overlook it. Remember the history behind it, inspect it carefully, check the condition, and keep your eyes peeled for errors. You never know, you might just have one of the rarest and most valuable examples sitting right in your hands. Thank you for joining me today on this deep dive into the story of the 1967 Lincoln penny.